On a winter evening in 1835, the historian and writer Thomas Carlyle handed the only manuscript of his great work, History of the French Revolution, to his friend John Stuart Mill for review. Hundreds of pages held years of research, gathered from documents, speeches, and memoirs, and they carried the weight of his labor and ambition. At Mill's home, a maid mistook the stack of papers for useless old documents and threw them into the fireplace. The pages burst into flame. By the time the fire died down, nothing remained but ashes. Carlyle had made no copy. There was no backup, no recovery, no second chance waiting in a drawer. When the news reached him, he stood in silence. What had been lost was not only paper, but years of thought and effort. Mill apologized with deep distress and offered money, but no payment could restore what the fire had taken. For days, Carlyle could not return to his study. He faced the ruin of his work and the fear that memory would fail where the manuscript had vanished. He asked himself whether an entire book could be rebuilt from nothing. Then he looked from his window and watched laborers raise a building stone by stone. Each wall rose slowly, each part depending on the last. He understood that writing could be built the same way, page by page, idea by idea, if he could summon the will to begin again. He returned to his desk and took up his pen. The rewriting was slow and difficult, but it did not become a simple recovery of what had been lost. It became something stronger, shaped by endurance and sharpened by loss. He rewrote the history with greater force and maturity, as if the fire had burned away weakness along with the pages. When the French Revolution, a history appeared in 1837, it was more than a record of events. It brought the revolution to life with the energy of a novel and the discipline of scholarship. The fall of the Bastille, the rise of Robespierre, and the reign of terror seemed to move before the reader's eyes. The book became widely admired and influential, read by writers and historians who saw in it a new model for historical writing. It showed that history could be felt as well as learned. In the end, the fire that nearly destroyed the work became part of its legend. The manuscript had burned, but the book was born again from memory, patience, and resolve. Some works are written once, and others are written twice, with the second born from ashes.